Hello everyone. Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the Percolation. This audio podcast is about as part of the Spectre and Newsflash. This audio podcast is part of the Bostics and Torpedo and the Specials. This audio podcast as part of a Storm the Bostics production. Through this audio podcast, looking at some of the mechanistics, looking at some of the the mechanistics in around the diagnoses of osteomyelitis, and in around looking at the diagnoses in around S aureus or staph aureus. So antimicrobial resistance, or EMR, can be defined as a sort of a basis in which pathogens proliferate despite application of antimicrobial pharmacotherapeutics intended to eradicate them. AMR sort of analyses in infections or through infections as part of in around the analysis of infections are becoming increasingly difficult to treat with sort of routine pharmacotherapeutics, which aggregate which aggregate or prompt MRSA transmission rates in amongst clinical environs. In patient X's case, the S aureus strain is or was resistant to cefoxitin and oxacillin, and fervently indicating where the patient or recipient's infection was prompted or caused by MRSA. The primary mechanistics by which MRSA occurs also is due to the transposable genetic element named staphylococcal chromosomal cassette MEC, or SCC MEC, at least in context of where M. Hussain in around this works had identified some literature in around staphylococcal chromosomal cassette MEC, or SCC MEC. And SCC MEC is also a DNA sequence responsible for transferring genetic information between prokaryotic cells through horizontal gene transfer. In addition, vertical gene transfer aids transmissions of SCC MEC from parent to progeny cells, resulting in antimicrobial resistance being passed down generations of cell populations. And at the same time, acquisition of SCCMEC and consequently MECA analysis in S aureus is becoming has become resistant. Evidence informs or indicates that there can be resistance to beta-lactam antibiotics such as oxacillin and cefoxitin. Beta-lactam antimicrobial pharmacotherapeutics operate by covalently binding to transpeptidase domains within penicillin binding proteins, or PBBs, which are responsible for cross-linking polypeptide chains that constitute peptidoglycan bacterial cell walls. that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of the Percolation, this audio podcast as part of the Bostic's Torpedo and the Specials, this audio podcast as part of a Spectre Newsflash, and this audio podcast as part of the Cases and Evidence Space, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production.